Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am here with my friend Dr. Leonard Bernstein. And Dr. Bernstein, I want to welcome you to the program.
Thank you
And,
very much, Gary.
if you could tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, your history, and what you are currently doing. So go ahead, Dr.
Well,
Bernstein.
okay, thank you. I'll try to do that. Well, as you know, my name is Leonard Bernstein or Bernstein. Prefer Bernstein because, as the musician Leonard Bernstein used to say, the piano is a Steinway, not a Steinway. But anyway, I am currently 94 years old, and sometimes find myself, surprised at being that age. But I do have a history of longevity in my family, as one of my grandfathers lived to be 104, 103. I'm sorry. And one day I went on the web with one of the insurance companies because they have these interactive programs, and they ask you, things like how old was your mother when they died, father when you died, and all of that sort of thing. And I answered all of that, and they came back and told me I was going to live to be 104. So I was, pretty pleased to hear that. So I went to my wife and I said to my wife, "Dear, guess what? The insurance company says I'm going to live to be 104." And she said to me, "Oh, no, you're not." And anyway, that's a true story. Uh, but here I am at 94 years of age. I got this way. I was sort of as a child, I was sort of lived my life a little bit backwards, I guess, because my first degree was my doctorate, and my second degree was my master's degree, and my third degree was my bachelor's degree. So I got my education sort of backwards, but that sort of went along with, I think, most of my life. Um, I've done a number of different things in my life, I guess, as far as careers are concerned. My first quote unquote career was as a United States Navy dental officer, but I only did that for a couple of years. And a good part of my life was um, practicing as an orthodontist and also being a professor of clinical orthodontics at Boston University School of Dental Medicine. Um, After I sort of retired from all of that, I did a number of things. I ran a small business. I dabbled in real estate and developing and managing real estate. Um, I for a while, for a number of years, became an artist and actually had a show in a gallery. When I ran out of ideas from that, I started writing, and I do a blog on Substack, which still keeps me occupied. Um, People ask me, what is it that allowed you? Why do you think you're living to be 94 years of age? And I tell them, well, there are probably maybe five aspects to it. One is your genes. And if you have longevity in your family, the chances of you living long are much better. The second one, or the next 20%, would probably be your social status in life. In other words, are you married or living with somebody? Do you have community connections? Um, do you have contacts with the rest, sort of the rest of the world? Are you involved in the world? The next 20%, I tell them, is probably things like lifestyle, not smoking and drinking heavily, or engaging in any of those risk type of things in which people get killed, okay, or die young. So I seem to have managed to survive most of that. And a lot of that is due to um, lifestyle type of things. In other words, um, I'm lucky to be alive because it was the advent of modern medicine that has kept me alive, because I've had a number of medical conditions and surgeries that in another era I would have been dead. And other than that, in eating properly and sleeping and all of those good things. And the last 20% is probably just plain dumb luck. Some people are lucky in life and others aren't. But anyway, here I am at 94 years of age. And I have, some mottos at this stage of my life, that I live by. And well, one of them is I try to live each day as if it's my last. But then again, I try to learn each day as if I'm going to live forever. So that sort of helps keep me going. Another one of my mottos is that, well, people are self-destructive to a big extent. And my saying is that, everybody is entitled to their own method of self-destruction. So I have a view of my own life, and I try not to be self-destructive. I also believe that you have to maintain a sense of humor in this life, because if you can't look at the world and laugh sometimes, you're hopeless, okay? Because some things that take place in this world, while they're irritating and outrageous and you never don't know why people do all of these things, sometimes you just have to sit back and laugh at it all. And that means that you can't take yourself at any point in time too seriously. Because I also tell people that, listen, nobody gets out of this alive. We're all going to die, and it's dying. I mean, people come up to me and they tell me that, so-and-so passed away. And I always say to them, what do you mean passed away? Where to? You don't pass away. You just plain die. So here we are, the human beings on this, thing we call Earth, in a great universe out there, and actually, we're all just these little specks of dust, sitting here, what I call in the corners of eternity, and we take ourselves, much too seriously. But when you look around at the rest of the world and the people, the thing that sort of blows my mind is why we are so mean to one another. Why do people kill one another? Why do we have genocides? Why do we have wars? I've read histories of the Spanish Wars. I've read histories of the wars of went on, the World War II, the atrocities of the Nazis. People killing people, rising up against one another. What is it in the human nature that does that? I sometimes look at what we've created here, what we call civilization. Civilization started when people started living together, and they found that they had to have rules of behavior towards one another in order to be able to get along and not kill and steal from each other. Well, these rules of behavior came about after years and even centuries of tribal behavior and country behavior, people behavior. And I liken the civilization sort of to an onion. That civilization, as we think about it or know it, consists of different layers, like in an onion. However, when people become pushed into a corner, either by governments or by greed or whatever it is that motivates people, these layers of civilization slowly become peeled away. And eventually what you wind up is the raw, nasty beast lurking within. And that's what we have to guard against. We always have to try to maintain a level and degree of civilization, to try to get along with one another, actually try to love one another. Because love, in the final analysis, is really what we're all seeking. We want approval from other people. We want to be able to approve of ourselves. But that doesn't work out that way all the time. So here I am, as I say, at 94 years of age, still hanging in there. I still exercise quite a bit, do a lot of walking, lifting weights, whatever. try to maintain an adequate diet. Um, Fortunately, I have a wonderful one as a wife, and marrying her is probably the best decision I ever made in my life. And I hope to be able to continue that for many, many, many years. I wish everybody who is watching this to live well, try to be happy, try to be content with what you have. Don't be envious of others. Value education and value the people that you love and love you. Well, thank you very much for listening to me. Bye bye. Have a good day.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bernstein. We'll talk again soon. And say hello to Jane for me, and maybe we can get an opportunity to interview with her too. Also, Dr. Bernstein, you have kids?
No, I don't have any children. My wife and I married late,
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
and she
All
had a
right. So
full.
we will put some things together and we will do it again. So this was a very nice introduction, and I want to thank you for that. And we'll be in touch. Thank you very
Okay,
much.
okay. So where do I? What do I do now?
You could exit. I will end the stream.
You're going to exit me?
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Okay.